Congratulations, you made it to the end of the course. Now, we have covered a lot of material during our time together. Throughout this course, we've already covered 27 sections and roughly 300 lessons in order to provide you with everything you need to know in order to understand all 5 domains of the CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 exam. Now, let's review those 5 domains one more time because we really haven't talked about them specifically since our very first few lessons together. Now, I know we didn't cover these domains in order, and that's totally okay. We covered them all throughout the time together in this course, but I rearranged them to make it easier for you to understand and learn in the best possible way. Now, CompTIA isn't known for ordering their domains in the most logical and straightforward order sometimes. Instead, this list is not designed to be taught in order, and they're listed basically in this PDF as a big checklist of everything you're going to get questions on the exam. Now, I promise, we did cover everything listed in those exam objectives and each of their sub-bullets as we went through the lessons in this course together. Now, the CompTIA Security Plus SY0-701 certification exam contains those 5 domains or areas of knowledge that you're going to receive questions on when you sit for your certification exam. Your first domain is called General Security Concepts, and it makes up only 12% of your exam questions. This domain is focused on your knowledge of fundamental security concepts, security controls, change management processes, and cryptographic solutions. The second domain is Threats, Vulnerabilities, and Mitigations, and it makes up 22% of your exam questions. This domain is focused on your ability to understand common threat actors and their motivations, to explain common threat vectors and attack surfaces, to explain types of vulnerabilities, to analyze indicators of malicious activity, and to explain the purpose of mitigation techniques that are used to secure your enterprise systems and networks. The third domain we have is Security Architecture, and it makes up 18% of your exam questions. Now, this domain is focused on your ability to understand the security implications of different architecture models, the security principles to secure enterprise infrastructure, the strategies to protect your organization's data, and the importance of resilience and recovery strategies. In Domain 4, we talked about security operations, and this makes up 28% of your exam questions. Now, this domain is focused on your ability to conduct threat management and vulnerability management activities, your ability to implement incident response and recovery procedures, and how you might apply common security techniques to your enterprise systems and networks. And then our final domain is Domain 5, and this is known as Security Program Management and Oversight, and it makes up 20% of your exam questions. Now, this domain is focused on security governance, risk management, and compliance, as well as auditing, assessments, and the security awareness practices. So, as you can see, this is all stuff that we covered throughout our time together, and I hope you enjoyed our approach of starting out with the basics of security and then going through the less technical topics like physical security, social engineering, data protection, governance, risk and compliance, and things like that, before we moved into the more technical things like security architectures and infrastructures, IAM solutions, technical vulnerabilities and their attacks, and how to detect malicious activity, and how to secure your systems, monitor them for attacks, and how to conduct incident responses if an attacker is successful. Now, I know we covered so much information in this course, and you're probably excited to run off, schedule your exam, and take that certification so you can finally become CompTIA Security Plus certified. But before you do, I recommend you stick around until the end of this lesson, where I'm going to give you my top 5 tips and tricks for raising your score on the CompTIA Security Plus certification exam so you can pass that exam on your first attempt. After all, the CompTIA Security Plus exam can be expensive, and you probably don't want to have to pay for it twice. Now, speaking of the exam, how do you sign up for it and how do you schedule that exam? Well, you could take it at any Pearson VUE testing center around the world, either at a local testing center or online from the comfort of your home office. Personally, I have taken exams all over the world, including North and South America, out over in Asia, and even in the Middle East at different local testing centers. But starting a couple of years ago, Pearson VUE and CompTIA have created a capability for you to take the certification online and the comfort of your own home or office using the Pearson VUE OnVUE testing system. To do this, you have to be in a room where you can be alone, you have to have a good internet connection, and you have to have a webcam so the live person on the other end can watch you while you take the exam to ensure there is no cheating going on, so that way the integrity of the exam remains protected. Now, to take the exam, you do have to purchase an exam voucher, and then you can go schedule the day and time you want for the exam. Now, you can do this by buying the exam voucher at pearsonvue.com directly when you're scheduling the exam, or you can go over to the store at store.comptia.org and buy it from the CompTIA web store. Now, if you do either of these two options, you will pay the full retail price for your exam voucher based on the location of where you're going to be taking the exam at, because CompTIA uses regional pricing, and they uses different pricing around the world depending on where you're going to be taking the exam. For example, right now here in the United States, the cost of the Security Plus exam is right around $400. But if you pre-purchase your exam voucher before you schedule the exam, you can save 10% off that price by going to our website at deontraining.com/vouchers. From here, you can select the voucher you need, which is the CompTIA Security Plus voucher, which country you're going to be taking the exam in, and then you purchase your voucher directly from us if we have the voucher for your particular country. Now, currently, we carry vouchers for almost every country around the world, and we're adding new countries all the time. So it is worth taking that step of going to diontraining.com/vouchers to see if we carry one for where you live. As a CompTIA Platinum Delivery partner who helps tens of thousands of students pass their exams every year, we receive special discounted rates on these exam vouchers, and we pass those savings on to you, our students, whenever you order your exam voucher through us. Now, when you order your voucher from our website, you will receive a unique one-time use code and get free access to our fully searchable library of CompTIA videos to help you with any last-minute studying you may need to do before your exam. Now, once you have your Security Plus exam voucher with that unique one-time use code, you're going to go over to pearsonview.com, pick the day and time that you want to take your exam, schedule it, and then you'll pick out whether you want to go to a local testing center or take the exam online using the OnView system. So again, if you're willing to take that one extra step by going to diontraining.com/vouchers first, you're going to save 10% off the cost of the exam, and you'll get free access to our searchable library as a bonus. All right, now as promised, here are my top 5 tips for increasing your score on the exam. First, use a cheat sheet. Now, I don't actually mean that you're going to go cheat. You're not allowed to actually carry anything into the exam with you. But if you're taking the exam at the local testing center, they're going to give you a whiteboard or a dry erase sheet that's about the size of a normal piece of printer paper. Now, once the clock begins on the exam, you can start brain dumping anything you want onto that piece of paper. Things like ports and protocols and terms or anything else you might forget by the time you get to question 66 and beyond. Personally, I recommend that you use this sheet and then spend the first 1 to 2 minutes writing down those important things that you may forget later on during the exam. Now, if you're testing at home, you will still have access to a digital whiteboard in the exam software that you can use for the same purpose. Remember though, you can't write anything down on the whiteboard or the digital whiteboard until the clock starts on your exam and that 90 minutes starts counting down. Now, the second tip I have is to skip the simulations. Now, simulations or performance-based questions, as CompTIA calls them, are usually going to be the first 3 to 5 questions on the exam. Now, most students find these to be the most difficult questions on the exam as well. So, my recommendation is that when the exam starts, you simply mark those for review, skip them, and then do all your multiple choice questions first. Then, at the end of the exam, I want you to go back and do the simulations. I don't even want you to read the simulations your first time through the exam. Trust me, just mark them for review, skip them, and move on. By doing this, you're going to gain confidence through those multiple choice questions that you're going to help you when you get back to those simulations at the end. When you finish going through all your multiple choice questions, now you can stop and go back and do those first 3 to 5 questions and get those simulations out of the way. Trust me, students who do this end up increasing their score by at least 5 to 10% over their peers who try to do the simulations at the beginning of the exam. Trust me here, skip those simulations your first time through the exam. It really will help increase your score. Now, the third tip I have is to take a guess. If you're in doubt, I want you to take a guess from the possible answer choices. Remember, there is no penalty for guessing incorrectly on this exam. Instead, you're only getting points added to your score when you pick the right answer. So, whether you skipped a question or you guessed it wrong, it doesn't matter. It counts the exact same. So, you might as well guess and have a chance of getting it right. If you're in doubt of the right answer, I want you to try to eliminate as many answer choices as possible and then guess between the remaining answer options. Multiple choice questions only have 4 options. So, if you figure out that 1 or 2 of those simply can't be right, you have now exponentially increased your odds of guessing the right answer from the remaining 2 or 3 options that you have. Now, the fourth tip is to pick the best time for your exam. Are you a morning person or a night person? I want you to pick the time of day that works best for you and your body type. Don't try to squeeze in the exam after working a full day in the office either. It will not end well for you. Now, personally, I like to schedule my exams around 10 or 11 in the morning. That way, I could take the day off work, I don't have to wake up super early, and I can avoid rush hour traffic on my way to a local testing center if I'm going to be taking it in person. Also, when you schedule your exam, make sure you have enough time before the test begins to relax a little bit before the clock starts counting down on your exam. There is nothing worse than showing up at the testing center at 9:59 when your exam starts at 10 a.m. Be there at least 20 to 30 minutes early, get comfortable at the facility, use the restroom if you need to, and then go in and take the exam. It will definitely help to increase your score, I promise you. Now, my fifth and final tip is be confident. You've got this. Now, when you're walking into that testing center or you're going into your home office to take your exam online, you shouldn't be wondering, am I going to pass? No. Instead, you should already know you're going to pass. You should have already studied all the information in this course. You've watched the videos, you've taken the quizzes, and you've studied your downloadable study notes. And if you're not confident right now, I want you to wait a few days before you schedule that exam. In the meantime, I want you to take a bunch of practice exams and build up your confidence. Now, in this course, I've included a free full-length practice exam as a bonus to help you determine if you're ready for the real certification exam. I want you to take that practice exam. If you're not scoring high enough, restudy the areas you missed by rewatching the corresponding lessons. Then, take the exam again. If you're still not confident, go and take some more practice exams from a good authorized source or textbook. Now, Udemy does limit the number of practice exams that we can include in a video course like this one, but we do have a separate practice exam only course here on Udemy that contains 6 additional full-length practice exams that you can use for additional practice. In addition to that, we have a second set of 6 practice exams that gives you more practice if you want it, with a total of over 1,200 questions available here on Udemy. Now, if you want to get those courses, you can visit diontraining.com/Udemy and use the link there to purchase those practice exams here on Udemy for the lowest price available. Now, when you take a practice exam, your goal is not to memorize the answer key. After all, my team and I wrote those questions, and CompTIA writes the official exam questions. That means you're not going to see our questions on the exam word for word, but you are going to see the same concepts being covered by that exam. Now, we also try our best to mimic the way the real exam writes their questions too, so that way you'll be well prepared on exam day. Most students give us the feedback that they find our practice exams are the closest to the real thing that you're going to find. So please, do yourself a favor and don't try to memorize our answer key and expect to pass the real exam. Instead, you need to understand why the right answer was right and the wrong answers are wrong. And if you can do that, you're going to be able to pass the real exam with no problem come test day, regardless of what they ask you. Now, when you review your practice exam results, we have provided you with detailed explanations for every single question on our practice exams. Please take the time to read the explanation so you can understand why you missed a certain question and why the right answer was right. If you do this, you're going to end up doing really well on the real certification exam, I promise you. So, keep taking those practice exams until you're confident, then go off, schedule your exam, and walk into that testing center knowing you're going to pass. All right, if you follow our 5 tips, you are going to be ready to take and pass your CompTIA Security Plus exam on your first attempt. And I know you're going to do great on the exam, so keep studying, take the exam, and let us know when you pass. Notice I said when you pass and not if you pass. That is because we are confident in your ability to conquer this exam, and when you do, we want to hear about it. Post about it on Facebook, tag us in it, go ahead and put it on LinkedIn, and then let us know that you passed this exam. Share your success story in our Facebook group, or even go ahead and post about it in the Q&A for this course. Your fellow students and I want to hear what worked for you and how you were successful. Now, I know you're going to be super excited when you receive the CompTIA Security Plus certification in the mail from CompTIA. So once again, congratulations on making it to the end of this course. Now let's go put all your newfound knowledge to work in our practice exams. Good luck, and I hope to see you again in a future course as you continue to climb upwards in your career and go up that CompTIA certification ladder in Decisive Plus and Pentest Plus.